Well, I think this album took so long because I really wanted to take a lot of time on this one to write and to really be in my own headspace for a long time before I really knew what I wanted to put on an album musically. And also, the producer that I worked with on this album, his name is Oliver Lieber, and he was very he wanted to take it slow too, because we had just gotten to know each other and we were still feeling everything out, and just being very cautious about what we wanted to say on this album. So it just was a conscious time to just do that and be on my own for a while, writing with him and other people and figuring out what I wanted to say on this album. But once we finally figured that out, things began to flow naturally and really almost start to really take some fire once we started to get together and record this album. Well, I think my sound has changed over time from Midnight Highway to the new album, Wide Awake, in a lot of different ways. I feel like I've matured a lot as an artist and as a person, and I've learned a lot, and I've lived a little more, obviously, because I put out Midnight Highway when I was 17, so I really had only obviously I had only lived so much life. So between 17 and I'm 21 now, going on 22, I think I've just I've had a lot more time to reflect as a person and truly understand myself more on who I want to be as an artist and really what I want to showcase, whether it's the guitar playing or the songwriting or even the singing too, which I've really been deeply focused on these last few years. I've just been really becoming more confident as a singer than I ever had before. I think when I was a kid, I'd get these comments from people saying, well, he'll be good when his voice drops. And maybe they were right, I don't know. But my voice did drop. And I feel really confident, way more than I did when I was a kid, about my voice. So honestly, I think voice and songwriting have deeply grown from 4 years ago to now. And obviously I'm always listening to other styles of music that influence my guitar playing, whether that be R&B or funk music or rock and roll music or even like Indian music and jazz and that sort of style influences me as well. So I have a lot of different influences that I go to get inspiration from. Well, I would describe my sound as being a lot of different things, because I have so many influences that I go back to listen to, and I think for me, I think it starts with rock and roll, because that is the backbone of what I do, and what I've always followed is the music of bands like the Beatles and people like Eric Clapton and Carlos Santana, and I really try to almost not follow in their footsteps, but try to carry on what they've done in their careers. And I think newer people that inspire me a lot, like John Mayer and Hozier and James Bay, and these songwriters that are also really great guitar players too, inspire me. So I take a lot from those people and try to make it my own as much as I can. And I think that's pretty much what describes my style, is just musically all of those influences into one. And that's what I try to do with my music. And hopefully that sounds like Quinn Sullivan. Well, I think I've kept myself busy in the absence of touring by trying to rekindle friendships that I've had for years, that I've always been so busy with touring and recording and making music that sometimes you sort of lose touch with people. So I've really tried to be conscious about keeping those friendships alive, and this year, especially this past year, I've just been trying to do that and really focus on that, because I think that's really important to have friends, especially when you're a musician and you're traveling all the time. It's really nice to kind of come home and be around people that don't see you for what you do, but see you for who you are. So I've just been really focused on that, and it's been nice. It's been really really nice. So I've just been doing a lot of that, and a lot of watching Netflix and TV and everything else people are doing during these crazy times. Well, I think what I'm most looking forward to when lockdown is over is being able to just be on stage again and play. I mean, I think that's what every musician is probably going to say. I think we just miss it so much. You know, it's so crazy that we haven't been able to play in a year, going on a year and a half. So I'm really looking forward to just being on a stage again and being able to connect with people. We've lost so much connection this past year because of this pandemic happening, and I just feel like everyone is, and don't get me wrong, social media is incredible, and it's the way I get to communicate with my fans and people I love, but there's nothing like being in a room with X amount of people playing and people on top of each other listening to music, or thousands of people at a festival vibing out to an artist or band. I mean, there's just nothing else like that. So I really, really hope that is able to happen again, and I know that once it's able to be safely done, I'm going to be ecstatic. I'm so excited, so looking forward to that. My future goals as an artist are pretty simple. I just want to make the best music I can make and always be for my fans and always treat them with the same respect that they treat me. I think that shows so much in artists and people, and they know you more. Sometimes fans know you more than you know yourself, and I think they know if you're changing in bad ways, and whether you think they're conscious of that or not, they are, because they know everything about you, and they are invested in your music, and they're also invested in you too as a person. And when you think about artists like Bruce Springsteen and Eric Clapton, they have these qualities about them that makes them career artists, and they are guys that I admire a lot, and I love what they've been able to do with their careers. They've just been always relevant, but they still change musically, and I think that's really important to do that as an artist. Is you have to always be evolving and doing things that inspire you, and not because somebody tells you you have to sing a certain style or play a certain style, but things that move you, because your best work will come out of things that inspire you the most and things that you're most excited about, and the only person that can decide that is you. So I'm really conscious about that. I really always want to be evolving as an artist musically, and always giving my fans the best treatment that I can give them. A dream tour that I would love to be on, I mean, I would love to play with Eric Clapton and open for him. I think that would be one of my career highlights as an artist. Also, so cool one day to go on tour with Paul McCartney or somebody like that I admire so much. I mean, that would be the icing on the cake to be able to do something like that. Also, I'd love to tour one day with John Mayer. I think that would be unbelievable because I'm a huge Mayer fan, and I think it would be truly amazing. Also, I'd love to tour with Tedeschi Truck Spin one day. I'm a huge fan. I think they're the best live band going on right now. They're so good. So yeah. Or also, I'd love to tour with Gary Clark Jr. as well. He's actually a pretty good friend of mine and a great guy. So I think that would be incredible one day as well. So. Some of my favorite places that I've gotten to travel to are places like Europe. I mean, there's a ton of places that I've been that I have fallen in love with. One that comes to mind first is Montreux, Switzerland. There's a jazz festival there called the Montreux Jazz Festival that has almost turned into more of a mainstream music festival in recent years. I mean, it's a well-renowned jazz festival and so many people play it, and I've been lucky enough to play it a few times over the years, and I think that spot is just gorgeous. Like, it's just, every time I get to go there, it's just, the people are amazing and the food is always so good, and I love the culture in Switzerland. I think they're some of the kindest people that I've met. So, and also the most beautiful views that you'll ever see. I mean, in my opinion, it's incredible. So that's a place that comes to mind. I really love playing in Colorado. The people there always treat me really well. I mean, all of the U.S. is really nice to play, and American crowds, they're super rowdy, and we love that. And what I notice about European crowds is that they're more subdued, but they listen more, and they listen more, and they're way more into the music. Where I think as American crowds are just looking to have a good time and party. I mean, but hey, I mean that's good too. I like a variety of different kinds of places and people and stuff. So yeah. I think because I'm from a younger generation, I think the common answer would be streaming. But I think I love getting a vinyl of a new album. I think vinyl is also coming back too in my generation as well. I know a lot of my friends are beginning to collect vinyl and wanting to play vinyl. I know a lot of friends that I have that are in college. They have like vinyl record players that they're putting in their dorms and playing music from them. So it's kind of nice to see that coming back. But obviously the streaming people have such a problem with, but I see streaming as a way to get your music out there, especially as a brand new artist like myself and many other new artists and artists in general. I mean, I think it's just a nice way to get yourself out there, and playlisting has been so popular lately, and being able to get on a Spotify or Apple Music playlist is huge now. That is the equivalent of being on TV back in the 80s. Like, it's an equivalent to that. You get exposure from playlisting now. So I think that's a very important thing that artists need to think about as they make more music and put music out. A preferred streaming platform that I use is Spotify. I'm a Spotify guy. I love Apple Music too, and I had Apple Music for a while, and I still buy songs on iTunes, and I'm a lover of Apple products. But I think I use Spotify more, and I think because a lot of people share playlists with me a lot, and I've noticed that more people are sharing Spotify playlists with me than Apple Music playlists. So it made me want to go to Spotify and have a membership there. So that's what I use.